Hi.
Hi, I'm glad to see you. Come on in, sit down. I was just having some fun building with some old blocks I found. Wow, it's really nice to see you. I miss you hugely. Um, I'd like to talk to you today about a very serious subject. And the subject I'm going to talk about is racism. Now, racism means that there are two groups of people, and one of the groups is not treating the other group fairly. And the group that's not being treated fairly are our black and brown friends. And this has gone on for a very, very, very long time. So we're going to talk about what's happening as a result of this. You've been told, I'm sure, many times that we should treat people the way we would like to be treated. We want to be treated fairly. We want to be given every opportunity. We don't want to be judged by the color of our skin, but by how we behave, and how our heart dictates we behave. Um, there was a situation where uh, a man whose name is George Floyd made a mistake, a big mistake. And the police came to arrest George Floyd. And the police that came, George Floyd was black, and the policeman that came was white. And as they were trying to arrest George Floyd, they made a big mistake. And it really, really upset everyone. It was on the news. People got to see it across the entire United States. I was really upset. Mr. Korsh was really upset. As a result, right after that happened, black and brown people started to march in the streets near where they lived. And more people joined them. And in addition, many more people, white people, joined them as well. All these people realized that a mistake was made, that one more time a black or brown person was not treated fairly. And this time it had to end. So people started marching peacefully in our town, in Huntington, in New York, in Chicago, and all the way across the whole United States out to California. Never before have we seen so many people marching. And they were marching to ask for change. And it was a protest march. And to protest means they didn't agree with the way things were being done. They objected to the way Mr. Floyd was handled, and that the rules and the regulations had to change. The they well, a couple weeks ago, you may have had the opportunity to watch Alex's children's sermon. And Alex talked about a word called justice. And the example he gave when he was explaining to you about justice was there were three boys, a big boy, a medium boy, and a little boy. And they had the opportunity to go to a baseball game. They each were given a box, and they could stand along the wall and watch the baseball game by standing on their box. The big boy had no problem at all. The medium boy had no problem. But the little guy, even though he was on a box, couldn't see over the wall. And they had to think what would be the just way, the way to fix this so that it was right, it was correct. I'm not going to tell you what the answer is because I'd like you to go. If you haven't seen it, if you've seen it, you know. But if you haven't seen it, you should look at it and see if you can figure out what was the right way to fix that set of circumstances. So I'm going to give you another example today of how a little boy felt that he had the just thing happen. A brother and a sister were living in a house together for weeks and weeks, just like you and I have been doing during the pandemic. And the sister had come in whining and nagging, can I play with you, can I play with you, can I play with you? And he said, I played with you yesterday and I played with you the day before, but I would just like a little bit of time to myself to build some blocks. So she stomped out of the room, really annoyed that she wasn't included in building the blocks. And in a little while she came back, and he had made the most beautiful castle out of all these gorgeous blocks. And she was annoyed, and she took them down. He was really upset. She felt a little bit good inside because she had spoiled his castle because he didn't let her join him. She also felt very sad in her heart that she had ruined his beautiful castle. The mother came in and said just exactly what happened here, and the boy explained that the sister had knocked down the castle he had worked so hard on. She explained that that was not a fair thing to do, and that she had to go up to her room, think about it, and when she was ready to come down and apologize to her brother, she could come down. So she went up to her room, not happy at all, and she thought about it. In the meantime, he tried to pick up some of the pieces and put part of his castle together. When she came down, she said to him, "I'm very, very sorry. It was a beautiful castle, and it was wrong for me to knock it down." And he said, "Okay, I accept your apology, and do you want to sit with me and we'll try to build a simpler castle?" She said, "I'd love to." Now, people who are marching, they are asking for the same thing. The boy felt he received justice. He felt his sister did something wrong to him, and she should be punished. And she was punished by being sent to her room and to think about it and to apologize. The people that are marching want justice for the black and brown people. And the way in which they are going to get justice is by the rules and the laws changing the way various white people treat black and brown people. They want the same opportunities that white people have. So this is a really important lesson, a very serious lesson. Jesus said, you need to love one another. Love comes from God. And he has always said how important it is that love one another as he loves us. He loves all of us, whether we're black, we're brown, or we're polka dotted. Jesus loves us, and so does God. So I want you, as you grow up, to think about loving all people, treating all people fairly. Right now you're still pretty young, but you know what bullying is like, and bullying is a very similar thing. You don't want to bully. Everybody wants to be treated nicely, fairly, and loved. You are all so incredibly marvelous people. Each one of you a little different, but each one of you so special. And this is a lesson I would like you to hold on to and take with you deep down in your heart for the rest of your lives. So try to remember Mrs. Korsh told you a long time ago, you have to love one another. Very important. Also, before I say so long, remember we're still in the pandemic, and we still need to wear masks if we're closer together than 6 feet apart. You can begin to have play dates, but you have to stay apart. You can play catch with your friend in the garden, but remember, 6 feet apart. And Michael's is now open, so you can go with your family and pick out a craft and bring it home and work on it. That'll be fun to do. Summer's almost here. Know that I love you very much. I miss you hugely, and he loves you with all his heart. Be good, stay well, see you soon. Bye.